It's Clarice with Amplify OT to give you an update on some advocacy stuff. So first and foremost, we have the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule. You've been hearing about it every year, hashtag fight the cut. It's our annual curse. The Medicare Physician Fee Schedule is the fee schedule that CMS, or the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, uses to determine how much they will pay for certain services under Medicare Part B. The hard part with the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule is it is budget neutral, so if something goes up, something else has to come down. So like a couple years ago, they gave an increase to the primary care doctors to pay for their services, but because they gave an increase to them, there had to be cuts somewhere else, and unfortunately, therapy services were one of those something else's. Currently, this year, occupational therapy services are looking at a 4.5% decrease between December 31st of 2022 and January 1st of 2023. You might be thinking, that sounds like a lot. And it is. So what is AOTA doing? A lot. First and foremost, we can't really control what CMS does, and we do our best to try and control what Congress does. But ultimately, it's a bit out of our hands, so all we can do is advocate. There's a coalition of healthcare providers, and AOTA is on that coalition advocating for permanent reform to the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule, as well as a quick fix to delay this cut. Part of why we have such a big cut this year is because last year, so for the 2022 fee schedule, Congress enacted a temporary 3% increase to the overall spending. So instead of having a 3.75% decrease last year, we only had a 0.75% decrease. However, that temporary 3% increase in overall spending expires at the end of this year. So while the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule only has around a 1.25% overall decrease for occupational therapy services, because the 3%, maybe it's they only really gave us a 1.5% decrease, but because the 3% from last year expired, then it's equaling out to a 4.5% decrease. What we're asking for is Medicare to increase the spending on the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule, at least temporarily, but in our ideal world, they might actually give us a 4% increase in the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule, which means we'd only get a very little cut this year. I understand that the ideal situation would be that there's no cuts at all, but unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in, so we're just doing the best that we can. Now here's the right question to answer, which is what can you do? And the answer is contact your legislators. Well, Clarice, how do I contact my legislators? I've got an answer. Go to aota.org/take action. And there's a little space where it says take action on the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule. You're going to click on that button. You're going to fill out the address where you registered to vote. You're going to look at that form letter. You're going to tell your story, and you're going to hit submit. Overall, it takes 5 minutes. If you like being an occupational therapy practitioner and you'd like to stay one, take action today, because if you don't advocate for occupational therapy, who will?